Welcome everybody to Sangha Television Sky 847. In this series of program, I'm going to speak to various professionals who are contributing to society. Last week we had Gursev Singh from the Netherlands. He talked about the role of Sikh professionals in the Netherlands, how they help to better their life, better themselves, but also to work for the greater society. And in today's show, I've got Jasneet Singh, who just graduated from the University of Sheffield. He has done dentistry, and we're gonna show you a small clip of his time at the University of Sheffield.
My name's Jazz, and I've just finished my degree in dentistry at the University of Sheffield. I'll be graduating next month, and I'm going to take you through my the last 5 years of my journey at the uni. And I think it all actually begins when I was 14, and I was choosing my career path. And I think I'm a bit odd in the sense that whilst a lot of my peers were wanting to be film stars or athletes or astronauts, there I wanted to be a dentist. And I think it's because of the experiences that I had myself. I used to hate my smile. I used to have a really crooked front tooth, and it was embarrassing to smile. And I think the day I got my braces and the day it came off, it just completely transformed me as a person in a positive way. And I think that's when I learned to appreciate the psychological impact that dentistry can have on someone. And you know, seeing that transformation, and I just knew I wanted to be a dentist. Choosing the University of Sheffield was actually a really easy choice for me. I mean, I'm from London, and don't get me wrong, as much as I love London, I wanted to explore a new city and learn to become independent. And I remember coming to the open day 6 years ago and instantly falling in love with the place. I mean, because of the really colourful vibe and the fact that the Union was and still is the best in the country. And obviously the Dent School was regarded as the best, one of the best in the country as well. And I think, you know, when I think about it, it's actually a really easy choice for me in the end. When I look back at my time at Dent School and I reflect on it, I think one of the reasons why I had such an amazing time is because of my classmates, really. I think because there's only 80 of us and we're together for the best part of 5 years, 9 to 5, every single day, you know, we've really become a very close-knit bunch. And not just with Dent School, but you know, the university. I think I've been very fortunate to have met and lived with so many amazing and unique characters. And I think that's one of the great perks of going to uni and moving away and meeting all these lovely new people, is that you learn so much from them. And it was my friends at university that actually taught me how to swim and taught me how to ski. And it was with them that I went on loads of great different holidays, and I think that really makes, you know, the people and the friends you meet at university is what it was really special to me. The biggest annual event in our social calendar of our society was the Dental Review, and this is where we'd perform live acts and submit funny videos and parodies to raise money for charity. Every year for 5 years, some of my closest friends had the best time making these videos, and I remember actually it was always a tight deadline because we'd always have so much work on at that time, and also having to edit and record all these videos. It was always a nightmare with the logistics and whatnot. So I think we had to do lots of all-nighters during this, but I think that's what made it so much fun, getting away from dentistry and making these videos and just being creative. I think one of the things that the photos that I've shown, the videos that I've shown, and you know, one of the things they don't actually capture really well is the amount of hard work that goes in at university. I mean, you know, you can see that I've had fortunate enough to have a really good time at university, but it was actually a really big challenge in the end, and the fact that we all got through it, it meant so much to us because of the fact that, you know, it involved a lot of hard work, of lots of, you know, blood, sweat and tears, and countless all-nighters in the library. I remember one stage in third year actually, me and my flatmate would be in the IC every night, and we'd go for a McDonald's breakfast and then go to sleep. And at that point we were just completely nocturnal. But you know, it was all worth it in the end. And I remember results day. I mean, that was something really special. I mean, we all waited anxiously in the Dent School foyer to get our results, which was on the same day as our last exam. And at this stage, we're all really sleep deprived, running on empty, and after what was a really tough exam period, I remember the silence in the foyer. We were waiting. The silence was broken with screams of sheer joy and outpours of emotion, and people crying left, right, and centre, and you know, we've finally made it.
Honours! Honours! Have you got honours? Have you got
Honours and
distinction?
After so many years of hard work, what seemed like an eternity, and I'll never forget that adrenaline rush that we had about, and how happy we were for each other, and I just can't believe it's all over now, really. I'm looking forward to graduation next month and saying goodbye to everyone, and you know, then it's back to London to start the next chapter of my life, doing something I always wanted to do. It's really exciting, time to be moving on, but I know I'll be back. I know I'll be back to Sheffield to relive some of those special memories. And I know it sounds cheesy, but I think Sheffield really has made my dreams come true. You know, I'm finally here. You know, since I was 14, I wanted to be a dentist, and I'm here now. And I think I wouldn't have had done it at any other uni but Sheffield. It's been really special.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa,
Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Jasneet, welcome to Sangha Television in London.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, I saw your clip at the University of Sheffield.
That's correct, yeah.
It's lovely to see a Gursikh become a dentist, you know, I mean, in profession. And you just graduated, and I've been told that you got quite high marks.
I did very well. You know, I think it matches. I mean, I worked very hard for it, and you know, results did go very well for me. But at the end of the day, it's a profession whereby, you know, you get the qualification, and that's the most important thing. And I'm happy to have had that 5 very good years at Sheffield, and I'm finally a dentist. Something I've, as you saw from the clip, something I've wanted to do for quite a long time.
Not many kids, when they are studying, they want to think of medicine, probably to choose a career in medicine. What made you think, and how old were you?
So I was 14, and the reason is because of my own smile. I used to hate my smile, and you know, as you saw from the clip, the personal transformation that I experienced, I learned to appreciate the psychological effects that, you know, dental work can have on someone. And after that, you know, I took on some work experience, something that I think is very important for young people watching today. If you're interested in any profession or any type of work, to go out there and experience it and see if it's the right profession for you. And you know, after doing work experience myself, I saw that this is something that I quite like, and it's an opportunity to be your own boss and manage a team. And from there, it just seemed like the natural course for me, and you know, I tailored my A-levels around it, and I made sure that my application dental school was as good as it could be. And you know, when I got into a few dental schools, Sheffield was always my first choice. And
even though you lived in London.
That's correct. Yeah.
Your parents here. Normally, you see with the Asian kids.
Very much so.
Parents. They want to have the kids close to the home. Okay, if you're in London, go to your
and that was true for my parents as well. My parents insisted I stayed in London, or at very most go to Birmingham.
But they want you to stay at home at the night time, you know. Of course, there are parents who send their kids everywhere. Even some of them send to Europe to study as well,
absolutely.
Or US. So, how was your experience, your parents' experience?
Well, as I said, they wanted me to stay in London, and as they would do, it's a very natural thing to want your child stay close to you. But I decided very long time ago that I would leave London and experience a new place, because when else would I, you know, get to experience a city such as Sheffield, and you know, with the view to return back to London, which I have, and I wanted to learn to become independent. And now I can, you know, cook and clean and all that sort of stuff. And you know, you really need that sort of push into the dark to be able to learn everything yourself. And you gain valuable life skills, so I'm less dependent on them now, and I'm better for it.
I'm sure your future wife will be very
happy. I'm sure she'll be.
Well, keeping jokes aside, does choosing dentistry or medicine is your own personal aim, or you want to give something back to society? I mean, when I speak to Sikh professionals, they say they were inspired partly because what they want to do, but also it's something which is embedded in them, which they have taken from the Sikh religion, from faith. Like seva we do, we are taught, like I try to my child is very small, but I try to help him. And when I take to Gurdwara, I tell him the importance of the seva, and I want him to be able to contribute within the Gurdwara to start with, but then going forward in the wider society. Do you think maybe all of us that have something embedded in us we want to give to society, and by choosing a profession which not only helps to empower you in all fields, but also to help the society in general? Do you think that?
I think so. I think from a very young age, growing up as a Sikh in a Sikh family, and the fundamentals is seva, giving back, the greater good, being an integral part of society. That's always pushed in Gurdwara and the teachings, to do good and to give back, and that was a very I suppose big contributor to one of the reasons I chose it. Obviously, what sparked my interest was my own personal experiences, but with it comes responsibility and a good role within the community to give back, and an opportunity to give to others what was so important to myself, to have that gift of a smile. And I suppose with professions such as dentistry and medicine, there is that opportunity to give back in a very special way to patients and the greater community, not just the Sikh communities, but to everyone. And then that's very embedded within us, but embedded in Sikhs everywhere. And the teachings that we have is to give back, and I think that's very much true today.
I mean, if we look at the older generation, they tend to focus to make money. That's the aim of life, to provide for the family, which is very important, to provide for your family. But you see, some would just choose any kind of profession without even thinking, as long as it's profitable, as long as it has good returns, rather than they giving something back to society. Do you think the younger generation reflect upon it, or they just say, okay, no problem, my dad was making money, had a business or whatever, I'm going to follow the same because it has I've got a good support network through friends and families and parents, maybe the capital, but you chose something else. Your father is also, I think, I understand, a businessman.
That's right.
But then you chose a profession which contributes back to society. Of course, it's also good in terms of monetary. But would you recommend the youngsters, the youth watching this program, to focus, to follow their dreams, not only based on money making, but to provide for society, but also for self-development? What do you say to them?
I think to them, the message I have is something that one of my teachers told me when I was in year 9, and that was something that I always reflect on. And they explained to us that don't worry about money. Money will always come, whichever line of work you do. Okay. The most important thing is that if you do something you love, then money will always come. You don't have to worry about it. If you the saying is, if you do something, if you actually love something and you make that your work, you won't have to work a day in your life. And I think my message to young people is to have a look at what are you good at, what are the things that make you happy. What is it that you want to see yourself doing in 10 years, 20 years time, and how can you, overlying messages, how can you sort of give back? And that's always important, as we discussed. But as long as you're happy, and as long as it's something that you feel is sort of meeting that any passion that you have, then money is something that will always come. And that's something that should not be your
priority.
The driving factor. It should be self-development and being the best you can be at what you do.
Yeah, at what you do. In the British Asian Society, we've got lots of health problems. Diabetes, to start with, alcohol abuse, drug abuse, especially in India, for example, Punjab, but also it's also, you see quite a lot these days, I'm afraid, everywhere in society. How we as a society, of course we talk on all these issues in the Gurdwara, and we have the discussion programs on our TV channels. There's awareness not only through or within our local society, but also NHS is doing quite a lot recently to help the Asian families.
Yeah, I mean they're producing leaflets which are obviously in different languages to appeal to everyone.
Yeah,
and they are definitely doing their bit.
They're doing bit. But you think is there much drive within our society? I mean, I'm very happy when I see a Gursikh, a doctor or dentist or nurse, in NHS, helping people around who speak their language, who can talk to people in different languages, and people feel connected and close. But what do you think we are lacking to eradicate the diseases, the problems we have in our society? Obesity.
Yes.
Obesity started with. What do you think?
I think a lot of the problems that we have are long-standing. Is something that we've known that have existed for a long time, and now that we're becoming more westernized and stuff, it's often difficult to sort of adopt healthy healthy advice, and it's difficult to sort of change your habits. And sometimes when you sort of come into a Western society and learn the Western ways, it's hard to sort of pick and choose the bits that you like. Often, here there's so much refined sugars available, brands of fizzy drinks and whatnot, and that's what it's very easy to just adopt in your life. Whereas it should be the other things that we take for granted. For example, joining a gym, exercise, healthy eating and stuff, and that's something that I think the overlying issue is education. And that's the focus should be to educate the youth of today, so that they do not sort of carry through the mistakes of the past, of the diet that people adopt and the drinking. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you ask most of the Sikh community who are perhaps over 50, those that can drink alcohol, they probably do not know the exact measurement of a unit and how many units we should be drinking in a week. I mean, it's a whole other debate whether people should be drinking or not. That's not for probably this show, as you probably would want. But if they are drinking, then they should, everything in moderation, and also to actually look at the units. And that's something that perhaps they're not aware of. So it's an awareness issue of the greater health problems.
Well, our channel, and of course, being as a Sikh, we always try to follow the Guru's. We want to follow the Guru's teachings at the end of the day, and we should never encourage anybody to drink
Absolutely.
At the end of the day. That's the core message of our channels and the Gurdwara and all the Jathebandis we talk about. Of course, we do know the problem exists in the society, and able to tackle those problems, you need to have a debate. You need to talk about. And I've also seen there's a greater reluctance for people going and asking advice and help. If you go to any drug addiction center throughout the country, the amount of people from Asian background going and seeking those help is quite less. It's a big taboo in society. I'm not going to go and seek advice from drug addiction center, either be it alcohol abuse or substance abuse. Whereas if you see, of course, we see a lot of the Caucasian society, the British people in general. There's no taboo, when they want to go, when they think, okay, I'm gonna go and get help.
They're a bit more open to it.
They're more open to it.
Yeah.
And the family and everyone supports them. They want them to do it. What do you think? Why there's still a taboo of not going to seeking help? People are in denial. They think I'm not an alcoholic, even so that they do drink and they abuse it. They drink a few times a week. They don't want to go and seek that help. What do you think? Why does a taboo still exist? And what health professionals like yourself can, who are Sikhs or Asian, to overcome that taboo, or try to explain them, no, this is a problem and you need to tackle those problems. What do you think of that?
Okay. Well, I agree with you. I think many of the sort of Asian communities are suffering in silence.
Yeah.
They have these, a great burden of problems, health issues of all sorts, and they are suffering in silence because I think the root of the problem is the culture.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's a big taboo to seek help
Yeah.
for those matters, and it's just down to the culture that we're from,
Yeah.
you know, and it's frowned upon, and you know the way people view you, and I think that's difficult to change in many respects. So I suppose it's a very, I mean, the problem is difficult and the solution's not easy either. So that's, I mean, again, the recurring theme is education, and perhaps with the youth to take a step forward, and perhaps, you know, if they know something, that they can teach their parents and their grandparents, and, you know, to learn and to give, and to really have that sort of community drive, and have those debates that we can perhaps raise the awareness of those issues, so that perhaps it will not be such a barrier for them to seek help. And I think
The stigma is attached, and that's a problem. I mean, there is a quite much awareness in society in terms of social media, networking, I mean, social media, television, as you said, NHS is doing quite a lot to educate people. We see all these leaflets published in different languages, Gujarati, Hindi, Urdu, Farsi, Russian, you name it. They are doing quite a lot. Local GPs do quite a lot. They advise people, you know, on all these things. But still, like diabetes, for example, we know in our food, we should have less salt and not much ghee, the butter or oil. But still, people like at home, my home, like my dad loves pakode, for example, you know.
Who doesn't?
And I tell him, you know, I have less, and he puts a lot of oil, and he uses lots of salt, you know. And he said, "Swad nahi aanda," you know. And I tell him, okay, look, you are at over 60 now. Try to look for your health, you know, and not go only for taste. But it's difficult to change.
It is, and on that point, I mean, I may be a dentist, but as a healthcare professional, I have this responsibility and this duty of care to promote one's health. And one of the things that we get taught in healthcare subjects is that there was this theory that knowledge changes attitude, which then changes behavior. So if you were to teach your, you know, a family member that, okay, so pakode has lots of fat, saturated fat, saying it's bad for you, that's their knowledge. It's going to then change their attitude to that, and then their behavior will be to avoid it. But that doesn't work. The research shows that knowledge just may change attitude, but that doesn't actually change behavior. The way change is driven, and this is what, you know, is what the topic of health promotion, the way change is driven is by sort of, I don't want to say force. Example I could say is that before the smoking ban, they used to say all the time, smoking is bad, smoking is wrong in many ways, passive smoking, and the only way that, you know, number of smoking issues decrease was to actually ban it. So if you force people to do it, then that's how it can happen. So in similar ways, one thing that perhaps a lesson we can learn from health promotion is that if you don't buy fizzy drinks for your children, if you don't stock it in your house, they'll find another way. They'll have something like squash or water, and if you don't make pakode, you know, then they won't be eaten. So it's sort of like driving change in that way. You have to change your environment to sort of have that effect. So unfortunately, knowledge and advice is not enough by itself.
I mean, I know lots of, as you were telling me early on, the NHS and the doctors, professional, these days they go to all these gurdwara and mosque and mandir and churches where they advise people about health issues, the problems they have. You have these surgeries in the community centers as well. Do you think that's enough? I mean, it's only when you go to the gurdwara, when there's a surgery, the doctor is there or the health professional there, the amount of people seeking advice is quite low, for example. But when you go to the main diwan, you know, and main diwan, you don't see many professionals talking to the congregation. You know, all there is a prachar about dharam prachar, and there's a kirtan, you know, there's a katha, but not often you see health professionals, for example, giving advice. It's important to have a good lifestyle, as well as being lifting up somebody spiritually, and which the gurdwara play a greater role. I mean, for example, I approached one local gurdwara and I asked them, why don't you have a drug, doctors who advises on alcohol issues in Gurdwara, and let them to talk and explain them in their own Punjabi language, and explain what the side effects are of alcohol on long term, you know. And the management never gave any, you know, thought about it, or they just don't want to tackle the issue.
Well, I think that's a great idea. It is. I mean, we already have, like you said, people coming into the gurdwaras and doing what they call health screening. So checking your blood pressure, and if it's a bit high, then they say, look, perhaps you should go to see a doctor. And then we also have oral health screening sometimes at gurdwaras. A lot of it is run by the British Sikh Doctors Organisation, which they do very good work.
Are you a member?
I'm a member, yes, that's right. And we go to different gurdwaras and we offer that advice, and it's there to be able to, as a screening tool, so if there's anything that we think they need to seek help about, we can point them in the right direction. And at one of the gurdwaras we went to, we had one of the cardiologists, Sardarji cardiologist, and he gave a talk, and he had all these visuals, pictures up of the food, the langar that we eat, and what's inside of it, and what actually happens when we eat it, and how it's digested, and how the fat is metabolized, and how actually it can cause lots of heart problems in the future. So I think that would be,
if it's not cooked in a right way.
Exactly. And it's something that perhaps we should be doing more in gurdwaras, while we have the attention of the Sangat.
Yeah. So if any of the Prabandhak committee members of all these gurdwara across UK and, for example, want to contact, which organisation you said?
The British Sikh Doctors Organisation, BSDO.
And they can contact.
They're on Facebook and they have a website, so very easily accessible.
Superb. Well, thank you for that. I'm sure listening to this program, not all but few, I'm sure, committee members of all the gurdwaras will contact them and make sure these health professionals are available and help give advice to your local Sangat. The last thing I want to ask you, Jasneet, is studying at a university, there's lots of peer pressure, and I think perhaps on a practicing Sikh like yourself, with the Dastar and Dara and Prakash, have you had to face many challenges like fitting in your college or in school or university? How was it, and how you coped it? I'm sure you have coped it very well at the end of the day, but share experience, and what message you want to give to anybody studying or always studying now, or gonna go and join a university in the near future, that they can practice their religion as well as enjoy university life and have a good career, have a good education. What advice will you give them?
I think all universities in the United Kingdom, I think they're very tolerant. I mean, the people that go on to study at university, they have aspirations, they have ambitions, they've all grown up in multicultural societies that we live in today. And I think for that reason there was very little barrier of anything. I think there's a very active Sikh society at most universities, and Sheffield there certainly was one. And when I look back, it was actually very seamless integration. There's very multicultural sort of feel within Sheffield, and Sheffield recently built a new gurdwara. I'm not sure if and it's wonderful, and there's a good Sangat that attends. And I think the role that Sikh students have in terms of the hard work they do to set up the Sikh societies and make sure they're running, and it's just great the work they do. And if anyone's watching and part of a Sikh society, I think it's wonderful the work you do, and to continue it, to help all students, but Sikh students, to integrate well into uni. So I think when I look back, I think it was actually very easy to integrate in society, because everything was there, everyone's educated, and there was no racism or anything, and I can condone it to go to university and not let your religion be a barrier to getting a first-class education.
Well, it's lovely to talk to people like Jasneet, and last week had Gursev Singh, who are professionals. They are in proper Sikhi Sarup. They go and have the education, they build up their career, they have a lovely career afterwards, and we can still achieve that. You can be a proper Gursikh, you can be with God, and there's no barrier. at least not in Britain. I can't talk about Europe, but at least not in Britain. I want to carry on doing producing these programs where anyone, any young professional, Sikh, good Sikh, want to come to the show and share your experiences. How was it for you, either when you were a teenager, in schools or at the college or university, being a Sikh, and how you overcome, if you had some challenges, how you overcome those challenges. You can contact me, and we can get you on our show, and you can share your views with our viewers. Once again, thank you very much, Jasneet.
Oh, thank you for having
coming
me.
to our
It's been
show.
a pleasure, thank you.
And I'm sure many of our viewers would take your advice.
I hope so.
And they cut the ghee and the salt, and no fizzy drinks. All
No
the
fizzy
parents,
drinks, kids, please.
don't stock them at home.
If you don't stop them, they have nothing to drink, they'll find another way, they'll drink water.
And the men who drink alcohol, stop it now. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Waheguru Ji Ka
Khalsa,
Khalsa,
Waheguru Ji Ki
Waheguru Ji Ki
Fateh.
Fateh.